Hello everyone. Video. If you are senior manager AML, you have AML experience. I want to make a detailed video for you to have your resume or your CV to be fully optimized as per ATS. Because there are lots of videos on YouTube that are selling you something. They're selling some referral codes or something, or they want you to buy something in the end, or they want you to pay for their live or recorded courses to update their resume, or someone is charging $20 or $50 or $100 to update your resume or something. So I'm gonna make a very detailed video so that whichever I'm gonna make a experienced individual AML uh, to update your resume video, but you can use it for for your entry level job as well. So we'll make this video public for so that everyone can use it, because I was searching on YouTube, then found it too many people selling something in the end, or they want you to buy some some templates that they have, resume templates. So this is the publicly available template that I just picked, and I'm gonna in the next few minutes in front of you, by guiding you that how you're supposed to do this the right way. I will update this as per the manager AML by using some of my my personal details, avoiding the confidential ones, so that this is how you're supposed to do this. It's gonna take some time for you to update it, and you do not have to do this frequently, unless you pass some certification in the future, you get another job, then you may have to update it. But takes just once for you to update it, and you do not have to update this again multiple times. Okay, so too many people, they are, when they apply for a job, the plenty of job on anti-money laundering around the world. So when you apply for job, either you are very lazy and you or go for the option of easy apply, you never receive any feedback, or you apply for your job, your resume is ghosted, or your resumes are when or CVs are unresponsive or non-responsive. So you're thinking that I have applied for 1,000 jobs in last week or last month, and I have not received any call. So one of the reason is this one. So I'm gonna guide you properly. So make sure that you update it the way I want you to update. Spend some few hours and do this once properly, so that you don't have to do this again. Okay, so first of all, your ATS is your the full form is your applicant tracking system. So these are automated. They're supposed to, these softwares used by the banks around the world, tier one bank, large organizations, so that their HR department filter out the irrelevant resumes. They do not want to a human being to go through them one by one. They want software to remove the filter out the ones that they do not need. They use it to filter them. The ATS, they use it to scan, or they use it to rank the CV. So you have to make sure that your CV is filtered, your CV is properly formatted, so it's scanned, and also it comes highly ranked when they are prioritizing the who should they be calling. So it should rank high. So it needs to fulfill all these three features. Otherwise, you have not done your job the right way. You're gonna suffer, and you won't be able to get your job. Okay, so this is in addition to the job interview, the 40 minutes video that I sent you in all the groups, group number 1 to group number 47, when your training program completed. So kindly watch the video before you apply for a job. So for an ATS compliant resume, it needs to have five five sections, and we're gonna use this to and it's, you can find it over the internet, chat GPT, Grok, DeepSeek, Gemini, whatever you want to. So everyone is going to say the same thing. So it needs to have your name, it needs to have your contact info, it needs to have your summary, it needs to have your experience, it needs to have your education and training, and lastly, if you have any other skills or personal personal, you have done something, personal goals or something that you have, objective that you have done, that you want to brag about. So this is the one. So first of all, your resume should never have any graphs, should never have any pictures, should not never have any sort of special characters. So out of just by looking at it, you're gonna see that it has a particular a font they're using. So you will always use just one font. Pick out of these three font, the Arial, Calibre, or the Cambria. That so it's from start till the end. There needs to be only one font. You should cannot use the one font for the heading and different font from this. So it should not be like they are using Georgia here and they're using Arial. So somewhere using Arial. So but they're using multiple of them. So you should not be doing that. You should use just one font. So it have to be between these three. So just go for the Calibre or Calibre or the Arial. So if you don't know, just go for the Arial that every Tom Dick and Harry use. So Arial. So we're gonna start with the word with my. I will share this again. This is the three template that I shared after the end of your training program. This is template number 3, which is the simplest one of all of the 3 that were shared with you. So free of cost. Nothing is found it on Google. So you should use that one. I will share this again. Okay. So it's your resume should always be left aligned. Other than the heading, it should always be left aligned. So we have 5 headings. These are other than this, all of these the contents needs to be left aligned. So of course your name is a heading, so you can have it aligned in the center. So it's not doing it. So I'm gonna just use the tab. Or contact information. Okay. I'm gonna show this is one of the worst way to actually use the space bar, but anyway. So and your font, except the heading, it needs to be out of these the 3 that I mentioned, Calibre, you have your size of the font needs to be 11. So we're gonna do the 11 the whole thing, and then purposefully change the few of them, like your name is being changed where so using Word file, so you can sometimes use the spacebar option. So in your address or your the next thing, your contact information, you're gonna mention you're not supposed to mention your gender, you're not supposed to mention your pronouns. No one care about that, him or his or something. You should not supposed to mention your date of birth as well. You should mention only your city. There is no need to mention exact the house number, the apartment number, the street number, or whatever. Just mention the area that you live in, the city that you live in, the country, and the zip code. That's it. Do not need to be that exact. Then you're gonna mention your contact information, your mobile number, and your Gmail or your Yahoo, plus your in the end your LinkedIn profile link. Kindly make sure that if those of you who have very childish, some of you are 40-year-old people and they are a very childish email ID, you're mentioning that fatty prince. I've over 3,000 trainees that I've trained. So some of them are very grown up people, look like very grown up, most probably have kids as well, and they're still using some stupid email IDs like your some of the, let's say, your prince or your princess @yahoo.com or something. That doesn't you have 10 years of experience, you have few certificates, and your email ID says that your prince.com or your king.com at the yahoo.com or gmail.com. That's a very stupid way to. Kindly make a normal one, like a normal human being, using your email, your name and email ID. You can't find it, you can just use the numbers, or you can use the word in inbox @Usama Mahmood, like I'm using my name @gmail.com, or you can say email to usamamahmood.com or something. There are zillion ways creatively that you can make a normal looking your email ID, other than you using a very childish one, being a grown up person. So 3 things: in address, telephone number, your email ID. These are personal information, plus your your social media, which is the LinkedIn one that you want to mention. Okay. Next, you do not need to put this thing. Next, you're gonna mention your so there are five things in it. These are the headings that we will mention, the name, content. There are five things that you need to consider in order to optimally optimize your resume as per anti-money laundering. There's zillions of YouTube, videos about optimizing. We're going to discuss it as an anti-money laundering financial compliance level. So the first topic that you need to be considered when you move to the next phase is your target job title and your key skills. So unfortunately, there is no shortcut for you to make one resume and then send it to 1000 jobs. You have to summarize a bit, of course, but you have to summarize to make it one time the resume, and then you can summarize it every job that you apply for. So unfortunately, you have to do that in order to filter your resume out by the ATS compliant software. Okay, so this is the first one. I just searched manager AML on LinkedIn worldwide. This is the first job that it's showing. So we're gonna pick this one and to understand. So just this job says that they are looking for a particular person, which they're calling it to be the AML analyst. So when you after putting these details, you're gonna give your job, your CV a title, who you are. Like if I mention myself, I'm going to mention that I'm a senior manager AML, my current position, what my title is. But the best way to do this when you apply for a job is pick the title from the job description that you're applying for. So it says that they're looking for manager AML for a remote job. So it says United States remote job, $30 per hour or something. So you're gonna update your resume to mention it, give it a title. It's not about starting with the summary or skills or whatever. You're gonna first give yourself a title which is in addition to your name. So it says AML analyst. So you're gonna make it look like that the job they are the individual they're looking for, you are the right person for this because you are also an AML analyst. So, and of course you align yourself accordingly based on the skills they are looking for. No, we're not. Okay, let's do it. I'm much better at Excel rather than the Word file, but you give yourself, let's say, if you do not want to, so you give yourself a title as per the job description that you're applying for, and just when you make a resume, just highlight it. That's something that you have to alter every time that you apply for a job. So this way you will remember that this is something that I have to. So the next job that I will be applying for, they are looking for something else. So they're looking for senior manager AML. So I'm gonna quickly change this way and then email them. Or sometimes they will ask me to fill a form and attach the resume as well. So I will of course mention that this is what they're looking for because I'm the right person for it based on the criteria. Anyway, so you mentioned the your role. You can of course highlight it as well, but or inverted commas as well. But sometimes HR department use some outdated ATS tools as well, and they may not be able to filter out this way. If you put in your inverted commas, so skip the inverted commas. I'm going to remove this highlight because some of you are low IQ and you're going to start highlighting. So of course there is no need to highlight it. Just mention it the way. And we're not looking for pretty looking. There's your resume doesn't need to be the most beautiful looking resume out there, or the pretty looking resume. It needs to filter out first of all the first stage, which is to the ATS tool. Okay, second thing, you mentioned the skills, and there is no need to mention the word top skills. We have to use when you're using some headings, like these are the headings, your name, summary, experience. So you have to use conventional. You cannot say that this is my life story or my life summary or this is my professional experience or something. Just use the word summary. Just use the word experience. If you just use the word skills here, then no need to use top skills or whatever. Just use simple words so that they are able to identify. Okay. So, and you do not need to say that this is my skill one. No one is out there counting your skills. Anyway, So you mentioned this is my professional skills or just my skills, and make sure that they follow the sound the size of the font, which is in this case 16, or with the 16 you align it center. If it's not aligning itself, you don't know how to do this, just use the space bar like a mature person like me, to put it in the center. Anyway, everything left aligned other than the headings. Your name is a heading. You feel that this is not center, this is the center, and everything else is left aligned. Okay, so you have to mention the skills. So we're gonna start with what a manager anti-money laundering needs to have skills about. And you can skip this part. This picture that I sent, this is a very childish one. Will mention much more technical way. So your skills or your professional skills or core skills are, let's suppose, as a manager, AML is your deep regulatory knowledge. And there's also an other stupid way that some people make bullet points right in the multiple bullet points in one row. In one row you're gonna get one bullet point here, you're gonna make one other bullet point here, another one, and the next row there's gonna be the fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. That's a stupid thing. So just you need to assume that the ATS-Compliant, the software they're using, it's software from 1965. Assume that they're using Windows 95, and it's just very simple software. You need to keep things simple as well. So do not make it any complicated. Just use the enter and bullet point in the next row. As an AML analyst, as a manager AML, you need to have a really good knowledge about the AML tools, and be able to use the big data analysis using the big data. Your really good knowledge on Excel, Power BI, if you can visualize the data using the data analysis, Microsoft Excel, Power BI. You mentioned about your risk-based approach in customer risk rating, how to use it, when you are using risk rating model, customer risk assessment, enterprise-wide risk assessment, EWR ways, and etc. You cannot use the word etc. actually in your resume, so you have to just mention what you can do. Plus, you have to use the terminologies that you find it in your in the job description. So if they use the word customer risk assessment, and you using the word customer risk rating, so your HR generalist or HR hiring manager who have got complex, or your 1965 Windows 95 ATS-compliant old resume software cannot differentiate between the customer risk assessment and customer risk rating. So you have to pick the right terminologies that they are using in their job description, rather than just whatever they say in your bank that you're working in. So they're using the word just risk assessment here. So you're gonna remove the word customer. You're just gonna say that it's risk assessment. So if your resume says somewhere CRR or customer risk assessment, you're gonna remove the word customer risk assessment, because you're gonna assume that the software is outdated software that is gonna filter out my resume. So they may not be able to understand the word customer risk assessment. So I'm just gonna use the word risk assessment. If you're saying the word money laundering risk assessment, you're gonna remove that as well. They're saying the risk mitigation. They don't know the difference between the risk mitigation and risk management. So you're gonna use the word risk management here if they're not using the word mitigation. So kindly use the words that they are looking for, or they mention in their resume, rather than the terminologies they use in your organization that you work in. Okay, next, the first job is to help your resume filter out. You have applied for 1,000 jobs and you receive no, it resulted in no interview call. So you want next time you apply for, let's suppose, 1,100 jobs on monster.com or indeed.com or linkedin.com, So if you apply for 100 jobs, so you at least, next time when you update your resume, you receive, 2 or 3 interview calls. So you want to receive some calls, so make sure that, there's no time, that this is a waste of time applying for 1,000 jobs when your resume is not, up to date the way it is supposed to be, and it's not aligned to the way that it is supposed to be. Okay. Next, complex, you mentioned skills on complex STR writings and reviews. It's going to be different. The skills, right, that you're mentioning is going to be different than the work experience. I will differentiate this in a bit. Model validation, transaction monitoring model, or you can just you don't know the software. If it knows that your software is trying to match job description with the contents of your CV. So if the contents do not matches with the contents of the job description, it's not going to filter it out. So if you just use the word TM tool, the software from 1965 using Windows 95 have no idea what this TM means. So you have to mention, so saying that it's a transaction monitoring tool. So transaction monitoring tools, model validation, you're trying to reduce the false negative. Next, escalation. We have developed escalation models or escalation protocols. You know how to, L3 level escalation, L2 levels, RFIs, converting your alerts to cases. You cannot mention high risk client or high risk customer HRC this way. You have to, go with the full form, high risk or customers, and then, mention their abbreviation, so that if they use in the job description this or they use this, hopefully both will help you pick your resume. The process of high risk customers or clients, their onboarding, performing EDD on them if they are high risk customer at the onboarding stage, or during the maintenance of this stage of the clients, or during the event trigger review, whichever the part that you are in. Okay, next, you do not need to use the word work here, just use the word experience. So your font size was 16 here, was written in bold, so you can write this in bold as well, 16. Okay. So the organization, the recent organizations that you have worked in. So in this, when you mention the skills and you're transitioning toward the experience, the what you have mentioned here should complement your skills, needs to complement the experience. So, and of course, result oriented experience, quantifiable experience. If they do not complement, you mentioned that you have very high level skills, but your experience is very childish experience, lower tier experience, junior level experience, but your skills are highly qualified, highly experienced, senior management role. So it doesn't make sense. So you have to make sure that it's transition from here to here complements each other. Anyway, so and it's totally fine. If it's 2 pages or 3 pages, have to be simple. Anyway, so you mention, let's suppose you're working for ABC Bank. Location, I suppose, is in Dubai. Started in it says month and year, so you started in June, let's say 2015, to, let's say, you work there for 1 to 2018. You work there for 3 years. The job title, okay, this is the current one, so we're gonna go with the present one here. And you're working here since 2021. Yeah. Want to start with the basic one. I should not have, don't want to start with the recent one. Start with the basic one. This is where lots of people, you make the stupid mistakes. So let's suppose you have 10 years of working experience, started working since 15 to 01 2018. This was your first job. Yeah, this was say XYZ LLC, and working in a Dubai. So you most probably started with some internship, or you started maybe internship, but that you move on to the permanent role or something. So let's say this was your junior level position. Junior KYC role, right? You have to mention in the experience column that what goals that you have achieved. The most, first of all, it have to be most relevant one, relevant to the job that you're, if you started working for McDonald's or whatever, that doesn't count. So have to be relevant, like if you started your job at McDonald's, so no one cares that you work in McDonald's. But if you started your job in McDonald's and you had some impact, which you use it for your first banking job, you then work in a second bank, and you're currently working in your third bank, so it was helpful. No one cares how many burgers you flipped in when working as a employee on minimum wages on McDonald's, Burger King or something. So you make sure that you're not mentioning about the minimum wage job that you did, but you what quantifiable skills that you work on, that had an impact, that had a result which is credible and contextual as well, and that you can use it. So let's suppose KYC, you started working as a in a nurse position, but the impact that you had while working there was, and we're going to mention just one or two. This is probably going to be the recent one, most detailed one. Okay, so your first bullet point on the starting with the role that is mostly your first one is I'm just thinking that what should be the KYC. Well, so you reduced the backlog of periodic review, and by, let's say, 11% year to year, and let's do the two of them. Okay, and you did the second thing was identified and rectified let's say 23% cases of incomplete KYC of outdated KYC of your corporate clients. KYC, you did the what on timely basis. Previously they were not timely basis, but you were able to reduce it. But still, there were lots of backlog of it, but you were able to have it reduced. Well, so when you applying for a experience role, this is let's say senior AM manager, senior AML analyst role. So they expect you to have some sort of management skills as well, that you will mention in your experience, which complement your skills. Okay, so some of them that I've written on in my the notes that I made, so I will use it to mention this. Okay, let's say this is your first bank. So let's say FGH Bank LLC, Dubai. Started working there 2nd of 2018 to 5/20/19, just over a year. Right. your role was let's say EDD, a CDD analyst. You move from KYC to CDD. This will be your junior, and this will be your analyst level, and you're applying for a senior analyst role. Okay. So in a CDD role, since you have some experience of working in KYC, so you had some management responsibilities as well, since you had the experience. So let's say you are managing cross-border teams, offshore teams, onshore teams. You are setting the KPIs. I'm thinking let's do 3 of those together so that I can distribute between the 3. You can pick those when you are updating your resume. So let's say ERT LLC and ERT Bank Dubai, junior AML analyst. This is just a AML analyst. Work there from 06 2019 to 07 2020 05 2021. Then you started in 2020. Okay, some bullet points here, some bullet points here. Right. So I've made in my notes that a few of them, then I will merge it. So the second one, suppose where you were a junior AML analyst, this is where you okay. There was formatting issue. Okay, and there is a formatting issue here as well. Okay, this is also have a formatting. Okay. So, and if you feel that this is gonna confuse, you can just mention this way. Assume that they are using Windows 95, and okay. So you have been setting. You have or you have set KPIs. You have worked with the QA, QC. You have made workflow optimization, and that's not possible for the junior AML analyst. So let's say AML analysts have done this, but it's a combination. When we're trying to complement our skills with the experience needs to also justify some results as well. So while complementing it, that what you know here, you're showing it here, plus you have to show that how much results that you achieve. So let's suppose you were able to reduce false positive through your model validation. Since you were working in QA as well, or you were liaison with the QA, so you were able to reduce false positive alerts by, let's say, 17%, air to air, of course. You were able to, let's say, increase the ratio of ratio of case to STR ratio by 3%. You were able to also reduce, let's say, uh, pending alerts quantum A2A by let's say 9%. A2A of your team, of course, not overall. No one expecting you to do this for the whole bank. Next is again, since this is a job offer, so you can mention here you were doing LISO. LISO with the internal auditor, QA team, QA AML, legal department, IT department, first line of defense, for different reasons. You are the middleman, right? So senior level, let's suppose you were experienced, you had when you had leadership skills, with the experience, being an experienced individual, you were able to show it by when there was a transition or migration from the old to the new tool. You were part of the team who facilitated this AML tool migration by performing user access testing. You were able to develop some predictive models that you were in the new tool. We were able to develop the models that helped in reducing, let's say, reducing STR rejection rate by, let's say, 23%, and those sort of thing. Yeah, I'm just checking my okay. Next is okay, moving on. So next thing I was thinking, managing cross-border teams offshore and onshore. And tool, yes, say experience in leading large remediation and transformation. You mentioned, yeah, when you migrating, transformation programs for de-risking, for backlog cleaning. Some more numbers here. So let's say, okay, we need to give more numbers here. So let's say you were able to 45% less observation exceptions identified in your team by internal auditors A2A basis. You can also pick this and use it for QA here. Let's suppose it was of course you have to No one's gonna exactly ask you, but these are just the estimates, let's suppose, identified by the quality assurance team. Last team was working in the same customers region. They you know able to, the way you perform your work was able to reduce it, the observation that they were identifying. Well, let's suppose I mentioned for as an analyst. Let's suppose um, so CDD analyst job is to uh, perform periodic review. So let's say they were able to reduce timely uh, timely performance of periodic reviews and document updated documentation of high-risk customers. Say scan data data validation of let's say PEP customers and verification of PEP customers and their profiling. And let's pick one more. I'm thinking of one more that can put RFI closure, increase or if it's a past tense, so you have to mention reduce, increase, reduced, liaison, if there's a word for it, managed, past tense, experienced. This is going to be the set the tool. We increase RFI closure rate by the number of RFI that you initiate. You were able to have them timely closed by let's say 19%. Right. You were part of that provided AML training. You can't provide KYC training to member of your team. Trainings multiple times you provided them the training. Okay. And what can reduce, optimize, is okay. So these every bullet point that I've mentioned here needs to complement my skills above, and pillars also show some impacts, results that they had, and no one's gonna ask you that how many alerts there were, how did you reach this, unless you're gonna put something ridiculous like 1,000 time or 10,000 time or something. So you have to be a bit conservative. So you should not be doing that like 37% or 3% is fine. 13% is fine, 11% is fine. But you put something like I was able to reduce by 99%, then they're gonna specifically ask question during the interview that give us more detail about that. How the hell is possible, you being a junior AML analyst, that you were able to reduce by 99%? So 11% is fine. 11% means that or 10% is fine. It means that previously they identified 10 observation, and next year they identified 9 observations. So they identify one less observation. So you're just counting as an achievement while you're working as a junior analyst in a particular team. So anyway, so the should not be so ridiculous. That creates lots of suspicion during the in-person interview. Okay, next. Thinking that why it's not it. Okay, now it's italic. We're moving on. Next is and there's plenty of space available for the whole LinkedIn link as well, LinkedIn profile link. Okay, so you're not gonna put in here any graphs, any tables, any pictures, any date of birth, any pronouns. You're gonna keep the particular font that three I mentioned. Keep the font size to be 11, other than the for the headings that you mentioned, which can be 16 or 18. You're gonna left align. You also make it simple, clear titles. You will do this in the Word file, and when you rename it as a okay. First I need to save. Okay, when you rename it, rename it with your name, and then mention, this is your CV or this is your resume. Or you can also mention when you're applying it that this is you're applying as a role like an AML analyst, or you're applying for a manager AML, or whatever your current role is. You mention that, with your name, so that when they save this, when HR generalists who have got complex, so when they save the file, they will, those with the god complex be able to remember that for what role that this CV belongs to when they're calling for the interview. Okay, next, since you were supposed to use keywords while you are modifying your resume, so let's we have to pick some keywords from here. Let's say says that illicit activity prompt report any illicit activity promptly. So we have to mention that rather than mentioning STR here, so or rather than mentioning alerts here, so you will have it adjusted again against the illicit activity. They're mentioning the word SAR here, so you're gonna change it from STR to SAR and mention the whole thing here. Either the whole suspicious activity report, or suspicious, or just the word SAR. They mention the word data analysis, or so you're not going to mention data analytics, you're going to mention data analysis, not either analytics, you mention the data analysis. So picking some right words, like they word use the word AML regulation, so you use that, you just find the word the way to put the AML regulation, let's say the deep regulatory knowledge, so you mention that deep AML regulatory knowledge, so that it complements that the word AML regulation with the regulatory. They want to use the word best practice, so you will mention that deep knowledge about AML regulatory and the best practice here. So they want you to use the word Excel, so you will find where you can put the word Excel, advanced Excel, or just the word Excel, or just the word the Microsoft Office or something. So they want you to use the maintain confidentiality of the reports and documentation, so you will find if you have nothing to put it, you can mention here. And every Tom, Dick and Harry need to be wary of not sharing any confidential information, so you pick it from here. You maintain confidentiality requirement, you follow the code of ethics and professional, and maintain and had professional conduct during what documentation as per documentation process as per the laws of your country. But it goes with the every job interview that you're supposed to apply, which is not to tip off. Collaboration, we use the word liaison, so you can remove the word liaison here and you say that collaborated with the law enforcement agency, so change it accordingly. They want you to use the word collaboration here. Review and analyze financial transactions, so we didn't use the word analyze anywhere, so you have to find ways to we can put it here as an analyst, where you analyzed financial transactions. So they're not mentioning suspicious transaction, the difference between financial transactions and illicit activity. So your CDD analyst can analyze financial transaction, but cannot analyze suspicious transaction, but just because that's the job of an AML analyst. So you can mention financial transaction, whatever, front end, back end transaction, debit credit transaction that the customer perform. So you mention this accordingly. And identify pattern in the activities, we didn't mention this, okay, we can find. So you were cannot of course mention that I have the skill of the great noticing or something, so you cannot be anti-Semitic. So you just gonna mention that you had since you had knowledge skills in big data analytics, so you were able to do pattern recognition in addition to your predictive analysis on the customer, which multiple customer pattern recognition. I can do this much better. So identified or illicit activities, unidentified transaction monitoring tool using pattern recognition and data analytics, which were identified by the transaction monitoring tool. So your false negative. Okay, so you have to make sure that your terminologies that you're using from, you can pick it from from multiple, this one senior manager, anti-financial crime, anti-money laundering, multiple location in Germany. So you see that using the words that they want you to use. Know your customer, we didn't mention anywhere KYC, so you can how did we mention? Okay, yeah, so you can also use the word KYV as well somewhere. Let's suppose you perform, since you're doing so much here as a junior animal, sarcastically speaking, so you did know your vendor, where you were involved in the migration process, migrating from the old tool to the new one. This is okay, so you are performing UAT there, so you have to, I suppose, doing here, you did here as well, you did know your vendor, because they want you to do know your vendor here. No, but you can do know your enterprise. Know your enterprise means your internal risk assessment, internal risk rating, the organization that you're working for. CFT, did we use the word anti-money laundering here? Okay, AML here, so we didn't use the word CFT. We have to find a way to put something here as a CFT. So let's suppose okay, as a junior AML analyst, we perform CFT screening. You can mention CFT and PEP screening, part of the batch screening process. You can mention the suppose we didn't mention about the TBML, so you developed rules to identify, use the words illicit before, so we're going to mention here suspicious. Identify suspicious transactions of trade-based money laundering. The full form and the short form acronym. Develop rules or scenarios using look back, using their frequency, using their models. So okay, we have to mention typology, so you can mention that you were involved in okay, removing this, you can do this here, you were involved in typology, yearly typology assessment exercise, involved in the team which perform, or who performed, whatever it is, who performed yearly or annual typology assessment exercise. How many SS? Okay. So we're just trying to find a way to put reasonable, that they will put typology words in the job description. They will put KYV somewhere that you need to put as well. UAT, user access testing, they're gonna be most probably putting migration, mapping. They will put some behavioral detection as well. They will put CTR filing, so you have to mention that were you involved in CTR and EFTR. So you can write the whole thing: cash transaction, currency transaction report, and EFTR filing process or procedure of all the branches they were given to you. And next thing, we have enough to next education, copy it from here. So in education, you have to mention, you know, year, college name, location. So every Tom, Dick and Harry these days, is MBA. So mention the graduation year, you did MBA, the whole thing, masters in business administration, in marketing or banking or finance. So let's say you did it in 2015. Your college was Oxford University. University, Uganda, not the Oxford University in London, UK. You did Bachelor's of Arts in 2011, Oxford. You just too good to be true. You was highly qualified, individual, but you started as a nurse position in a KYC. Okay, there is some so your certificates as well. So you did CAMS or CFCS or your Go AKS or your ICA or whatever, or CFAP. So there is a from All American Banking Association, ABA, that provides this CFP certificate. So they sometimes ask in America. So American Banking Association certified anti-money laundering for fraud professional, who is both, both the fraud and, okay. And in America they want you to, do CFEs as well, if you have done the CFE, and in addition to SQL knowing, now to get a job in America. So you mention your certificates, you mention your degrees. There's no need to mention the, the schooling that you did or whatever. There's a and high school or junior school or something. Just a bachelor's degree, that's more than enough. Okay. Lastly, you want to give yourself in the end personal, goals that shows that who you are and what you have done. Personal goals or your other skills or personal objective. That can be just your one-liner thing. So I suppose you want to be you want to make sure that you are able to achieve the purpose of this is to resonate deeply what your role is and how you work, wherever you work, how you feel about your job, what you have learned in the previous jobs, how you tell your stories in a way that achieves your shows that you have done something. Like I can mention about the AML training that I've provided, but so not many of you but have provided the training, so I will mention something. Let's suppose your goal is to work, align myself with the regulatory's objective to meet self with regulatory objective to fulfill my organization's task. No, my task, where I make right decision at right time and help and mitigate the risk of money laundering, terrorist financing, financial crime, proliferation financing, financial crime, fraud, money laundering, terrorist. Okay, let's start with the fraud, financial crime, money laundering, risk, financial institution is exposed to. So you're just making sure that whatever you job you do, do your job the way you are supposed to, and don't make any stupid mistakes. The personal objective that you have mentioned. Okay. You can put the whole thing in inverted commas. You can put it in this way as well to make sure that it's different to whatever you put here. You can put this in bullets as well. Okay. If you think that schooling is important in my country, so whatever, high school degree, HS high school. You did the high schooling in Oxford schooling system, in Uganda. This is also you did in they have a CFE in Uganda as well, institute. Anyway, so you got the point hopefully. So if you attended the 50 hours training, if you plus your certification, whichever the certification that you have done, plus your you learn advanced level of big data analytics, plus you have enhanced your LinkedIn profile, plus you have optimized your CV, your resume, plus you have watched the video of interview preparation that I shared, 40 minutes video, plus you attend the CPDs, to when they ask you difficult questions, and you are able to respond to those questions because you have attended all the CPDs that you were supposed to attend free of cost, that were conducted for my trainees from any of those batches that you belong to. So there's no way you're gonna ask anyone to help you get a job if you have done all of those 7 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you do all of this and cost nothing, this is free, this is free, this is free, this is free, this is free. That's what you paid actually, and that's what you paid. Rest of them are free, But if you're just gonna do this, that's not gonna. If you do this, that's not gonna. So if you do just this, you can forget about the job market. You have to do this plus this. I made a video about the LinkedIn profile optimization, how to enhance it, why you need to enhance this, and share it in every batch. Search it where you find it. Find this. Make this video. I do this. CPDs every month for you to prepare you for the technical rounds of the job interview. So I don't think so that if you do all of those 7 things, there is any way for you to not to be able to get a job. So it just require you to be not to be lazy, not to be a loser, not to be procrastinating, not to be thinking that someone is gonna do this for you. You have to do this on your own. So when you make this file once, if I in your shoes, I'm going to highlight this, that what things that I need to update with the in addition to whatever the organization that you or the job that I'm applying for. I will update this accordingly. Let's suppose I will create a gibberish here and highlight it that for every job that I'm going to apply, I need to use their job description and add one pointer here, one pointer here, one point in my skills column, and something about it in my personal objective as well. I'm going to redraft it based on the whatever the job that I'm applying for. So if you, let's suppose, apply for 100 jobs every month, so you unfortunately, but if you want to receive 5-6 interview calls out of the 100 jobs that you apply, or 1 or 2 interview calls for the 100 jobs that you apply, you have to 100 times do small changes in your resume. Unfortunately, kindly do not put your resume, put your name there. No one wants to know about your gender. No one wants to know where you live. No one wants to know about your age. Put your LinkedIn profile, which are always publicly available, and mention all of those information. You can add more things here, like your skills regarding your sanction screening tools, how to perform, how to review their hits, You have reviewed the your TBML as well. You have knowledge about how to use core banking system, eKYC tools. You know how to you know do the PEP screening. You know how to do the concentration risk for the AML review as well. Whatever you want to put, and you have be part of the process of behavioral detection one as well. You can put that as well. So all of that needs to complement with whatever the jobs that you are applying for. So mention the AML, put your city, country here, see that what role they're asking for, see that what if you're mentioning sanctions here, so you have to make sure that sanction screening tools, you have hands-on experience, so you have to make sure that you mention OFAC somewhere here as well. OFAC compliance, you have to make sure that you put FATCA there as well, and others as well, your identification of the beneficial ownership information, identification through of the shell companies there, those tools, those information. So if they want you to know your front companies, mule accounts, your funnel accounts, you mention about the real estate market, how you use the third party tools in getting external information. You should also be able to mention the open source intelligence tools that you can use it, optimize them in collecting the information, and collecting reliable information, and use that information to your STR filing process. You should be able to mention initial STR, supplementary STR, continuous activity reports, the VCTRs. You mention the if you have reviewed crypto transactions, so you can mention those, identifying peer-to-peer crypto activities. If you mention the on-ramp, off-ramp transactions, how you can have in the past identified them, and that led to filing of the STR. So all of this, so there's no need for you to make a 2-page resume that you're thinking that I can put all of those. But if you're gonna put so many, they will ask you lots of questions. But this looks much better than these are pointers which if they those who gonna interview, first of all, this will be filtered out by your ATS tool. Secondly, when you are invited for first, second, third round, they will be easily able to read this. They are not explanatory. Only one of them was explanatory enough to to be in the 2 rows. So all of them are, or 2 of them, so every one of them are just one pointer, one few liner pointers, a few words pointers that helps whoever is going to read it. They are able to just quickly read and able to understand. And you're putting the the right terminology that they want you to periodic review, event trigger reviews. They want you to do PEP screening, CFT screening. They want you to do L1, L2 alerts as well. They should be able to escalate the RFIs as well. You should be able to ask right questions when you're escalating the RFIs. So quality of the RFIs, conclusion of the RFIs, or when they are pending, when they are unresponsive, what you do with them. So you release them with internal auditors, you release them with the quality assurance team. You're able to respond to whenever those reports are issued, to able to perform resolution and rectification of the observation they identified. So making it easier for yourself to get hired. And this is nothing complicated. Just takes 1 hour for you to do this the right way, and get called for the interview. So people pay so much money to do so many expensive certifications. They don't even get a single job interview. So they ask people for the job placement assistance. They ask people to find references to help them get a job, and months pass, year pass, and they forgot so many things that they studied. And when they finally get the interview calls, they are unable to say things. It's like you're going to the France, you learn French so that you can go to the France to get yourself the French girl. When you go to the France, eventually 2-3 years later, you can't even speak with the French girl, because you didn't practice your French. You have to make sure when your French speaking skills are relatively new. That's when you want to get a job as well, get an interview call as well, so that you can perform well enough. So it starts with when you have your resume optimized, LinkedIn profile optimized, you have done your big data analytics free courses, self-learning, passed your certification examination, attended the live training, you're attending the CPTs as well, you watch this how to prepare for the job interview, the video that I send you. So all of this helps hopefully. So kindly use this. That's gonna be very stupid thing for me to share you this file. You should start with the scratch, but do something about it, with your resume, and make sure that you're using the same font. It's about the simple, clear, and there is another adjective for it, simple, clear, and relevant. Your CV is relevant to the job description. You make a very simple, easy to read, with very clear, and relevant to the job description that you're applying for. You're gonna see the result when you start receiving so many calls, interview calls. And kindly do not apply for easy apply roles. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can apply for a few seconds. You apply for the ones where you need to fill the form, and all of them are easy apply. Skip the easy apply one. This is the easy apply. Find the one that are not easy apply. This is the one not easy apply. So you click on this, go to the Deloitte website. It's from Deloitte, and you fill the form, the whole thing. And the form most probably sometimes starts with you uploading your CV. Make sure you keep your CV in a Word file, not PDF file, and then it's gonna pick whatever basic information and then ask you to fill rest of it. Make it easy for you, for you to get selected, and you should go for the CFE, especially if you're in America after doing your AML certification. Okay, so thank you for watching. We'll make it public for everyone from anywhere who can watch this. There's not much YouTube videos out there where someone do this from scratch. Everyone is trying to sell you something, buy my referral codes or buy my template of resumes, or pay me money to update so I can critique your resume, or help you build the resume. So anyone can watch this and they can use this bullet points, and there's zillions of templates available out there. I will upload it in a publicly somewhere, and share the link for anyone who wants to download it. Just make sure that you do not embellish it. No one wants embellish CVs. Simple, keep it simple. Apply for the jobs, and you do the 7 things I want you to do. You're gonna see the results. So it requires just lots of efforts, other than expecting others to do this. And I have also shared the cover letter as well in your WhatsApp groups for any batch that you're from. That's a very simple cover letter. When you're applying for a job, just copy paste that. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful, and please don't be lazy. It's not a job market for you to be lazy. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.